Hopefully Okay, so welcome to today's workshop, everybody. This is Caroline Waters, and she was actually the first coach that I ever hired and took a chance on. She's my soul sister because we share the same birthday.
Yeah, we do.
And she basically helped me to get in touch with my intuitive side and was basically the catalyst for helping me to create the Perfectly Imperfect Coach business and carry it from there. I'm trying to find I'm trying to find your bio, but I'm just going to let you introduce yourself because you know more better how you want to say it. So.
Yeah, awesome. I will. Thank you very much for having me. I'm just going to pop open my slides and that way we can kind of get rolling. And I will introduce myself as we go.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, so I decided today we're going to talk a little bit about loving yourself and how to do that using your innate intelligence. So as Marnie shared, I am all about intuition, and I'm truly all about women recognizing that what has been suppressed, which is a lot of that innate feminine intelligence. So the intuition, the feeling, the sensing, the knowing, with respect to women in business in particular, but also just in our lives, we are not using this stuff enough. And it truly is the game changer in being able to create a life and a business that is in true alignment with who you are. And loving yourself is a huge part of that. So that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. Before I do that, I will introduce myself. Hello, I am Caroline Waters. I am the founder of The Mode School. I'm a women's coach, an author, a speaker, a marketing strategist, and a meditation teacher. And I'm going to add a mom of two to that. The Mode School itself, just to kind of introduce this beautiful school, it's a business school that has been inspired by women who are really here to create meaningful change in the world. I believe that women are natural entrepreneurs, they're natural creators. They have these amazing heart-led ideas. And when they start to really recognize what they have in terms of an idea inside, and they start to align with their true selves and learn how to really value themselves and ultimately understand their worth, they can really build these incredible, amazing businesses that are so necessary in both our local communities and global communities. So I'm a big believer that women are here to just do some serious, not damage, but have a serious impact in the future in a way that we've never had the opportunity to before. And that for me really stretches from just what you're doing in your life all the way through to if you are creating a business. And meditation is a big foundation of my work because it helps you really tap into that innate intelligence. And I'll talk a little bit about what innate intelligence actually is so that you can really understand what I'm talking about. So that's me. In terms of what we're going to cover today, I will take you through innate intelligence, so a little information on that, then overcoming your fear. So when everybody is like, I want to practice self-love, I need to love myself more, the reality is there's work to kind of get there. And fear is the number one most palpable thing on the planet. Our news, media, everything, it's all very fear-based. And so when we start to actually overcome our fears, or work with fear would be a better way to put it, we can start to dial down the impact that is having in our lives. And then that naturally allows us to connect in with loving ourselves and the practices of self-love and understanding how to give ourselves what it is that we truly need. So I'm a big believer in let's address those fears so that you can truly access what is most meaningful to you. Part of that is cleaning up your limiting beliefs. Loving yourself is about the truth of who you are, and every woman is absolutely amazing and incredible. And if she is believing all of those limiting beliefs, such as the inner critic, the saboteur, the victim, it's very hard to see who it is that you truly, truly are. And so when we start to clean up those limiting beliefs, because they are false, they are totally false, then we can start to access our true potential, our true power, and really love ourselves at a whole different level. And then we'll talk about accessing your full potential. And I'm going to take you through a couple of the intelligence exercises that I like to use with my clients because it's so much fun. Okay, so let's get going here. This lovely quote by Charlie Chaplin. He's got so many, but I like this one. If you're really truthful with yourself, it's a wonderful guidance, and it's so true. The more you are in alignment with your truth, the more you are naturally guided and aligned to your right life. And this is what innate intelligence is all about. So innate intelligence at the Mode School, we leverage in all of our programs 5 forms of innate intelligence to create a deep connection with our true wisdom and our greatest potential so that we can foster long-lasting success, whether that's just in your life and really wanting to tackle personal development and start to move through some of the obstacles and barriers you might be experiencing, all the way into actually building a business. And as I said, I really believe every woman is meant for business. Every woman has an incredible idea, if not several. And when she actually recognizes that there's a whole different way to do business that honors this feminine intelligence versus the traditional kind of masculine model of business, which is all about force, pressure, push, greed, you name it, which is not something that most women are eager to jump into. But the reality is women are totally natural entrepreneurs. They have incredible ideas. And so another way of doing business is leveraging what is more natural for women, which is our innate intelligence. So mental intelligence, we all know, we all use all of the time. And it's kind of got lots of obstacles and barriers in there. So we'll talk about some of those limiting beliefs today. But when we start to move into the other forms of intelligence, these are 100% accurate, true forms of intelligence that we are using without even recognizing. But when we intentionally, you know, pump the gas on these and start to actually use them more, it's amazing what starts to happen. So emotional intelligence, actually using your EQ in business or in your life, starting to develop an understanding of emotional intelligence and how to not only manage the relationship with yourself, but managing relationships with others. Your intuitive intelligence, intuition is huge. It's what every successful entrepreneur uses to build, you know, those multi-million dollar businesses. Inventors. So we just have to look at, you know, one of my favorites, Einstein, but all inventors will say that intuition really led them to their greatest inventions. Your gut intelligence. So when we move into the body is 100% accurate because it's based in our safety and survival. So just like animals out in nature, when we actually listen to our gut and our heart, they communicate clear and intelligent information to us all of the time. In fact, these areas of the body are actually sending more information to the brain than the brain is sending to the body. And so when we start to really get in connection with our gut and heart, which is why we use meditation at the Mode School to do so, because, you know, the left brain doesn't have the ability per se to access this intelligence. It's more of a sensing, feeling, and a knowing, which is why intuition and emotion is so key when we start to develop this way of working. And again, women naturally work this way. It's just a matter of turning on the gas. And so listening to our gut, listening to our heart, and what are these areas of the body saying? There's a ton of science behind gut intelligence and heart intelligence. The fact that we have the, you know, oh, you better do a gut check on that one, or are you trusting your gut instincts? That's because that center, if you know the chakras, the solar plexus chakra, that's just the energy center that kind of governs our gut instincts. Um, this part of the body has its own memory, it has its own communication, it has its own brain. And this is all proven by science. And so when we start to actually tap into these areas of the body, it's amazing what we come to sense, feel, and know. And when we move into the heart itself, us being all energy, so we're all vibrating molecules and atoms. We all learned this back in school, that matter is not actually solid, it's vibrating particles. Well, we are, a mass of vibrating particles. And within our frequency, within our energy, the heart is 5,000 times more magnetic than anything else. So when you tap into your heart, and what I mean by that is when you actually start to work with this energy, and we're going to do an exercise on this today, you are coming into a place of sensing, feeling, and knowing at your deepest level who you truly are, why you are here, and what it is that you want to create. The heart is the first thing that beats in an unborn fetus. Therefore, the heart carries the signature of all of your intelligence within it, and your truth of who you are and why you're here. And so when we start to actually listen to the heart, in Chinese medicine, they talk about the heart being this kind of keeper of our true wisdom and who we really are. Well, the heart pumps blood throughout your system. And so the heart is communicating at a cellular level to every part of your body, every part of your being. And so when you actually start to dial in and work with this, every part of your body is listening and responding to this high vibrational part of yourself. This is why loving ourselves is so important, because if we are not in a place of heart coherence, if we're not in a place of love, we're generally in a place of fear or shame, blame, worry, doubt, guilt, all of those lower vibrations that take us out of this connection with heart intelligence. So the more we spend time in heart coherence, the more we spend time loving ourselves, understanding what we need, and giving ourselves what we need, the more we are actually operating out of a place of pure alignment of who we are. And the kicker here is, and stay with me, this whole universe is vibrating particles, atoms, molecules. Everything is corresponding and everything is responding to energy. So when you live in your heart, when you are operating out of that place, you are sending signals out into this universe that are communicating with all other energy. And there's a lovely law of attraction that exists within quantum physics. So I'm going to get super nerd on you right now. In quantum physics and quantum mechanics, that the law of attraction, so like frequency, similar energy attracts similar energy. So what happens when we are living from our heart, we're living from a place of love, we're taking care of ourselves, we're making sure we're getting what we need, and we're staying in that high vibration? Well, the universe starts to respond to your energy with that same energy, which is when we get into those flow states. It's kind of like if you've ever done a work of art or created something and you get into that flow state of just like imagination and creation. Well, what you've entered at a more scientific or vibrational level is a high vibration, a place where you are just in flow. And so everything starts to kind of unfold in this magical way. Well, that is an intelligence that human beings can use in everything that they do. And specifically when they apply it to creating something in their lives or transforming themselves or building a business or creating a work of art, it's pretty profound what starts to happen. So using our intelligence and connecting with our intelligence and operating from these places is huge in terms of really shifting from a small reality, and we'll talk a little bit about limiting beliefs and fear in a second, but a small reality of who we think we are and what we're capable of, expanding into who it is we truly are and all of the potential that we are capable of. So Marianne Williamson says it best. I love her quote: "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And I've coached hundreds of women, and I can say without a doubt, this is true. At the end of the day, we get through some of the initial fears, and then inevitably, I see the woman just like obstacle block, and what is standing in her way but herself. The fear of her own greatness, the fear of her own potential is truly what ends up stopping us. So that's the place I love to work, is really having women understand their power and leveraging it to its full potential. So when we look at overcoming fear, so that we can access love, most of us struggle in some way with fear. It limits our lives. It keeps us playing small. Many of us, many of the women that I meet, they're in careers that they're like, well, it feels okay, or maybe it feels awful, but it pays the bills, and it's has all of these kind of thoughts that they've created around it to make it okay that they're there. Meanwhile, there is this small whispering of the heart that's saying, there's more to you. There's more intelligence that you have. There's more talents, more gifts, more experience that you're not leveraging here. And this is big for women. We are here in this feminine energy to really nurture, transform, create, and embody what we are evolving into. That's the kind of the power of this feminine energy. And so when we end up stuck in a place that is not maximizing who we truly are, we feel it, and it causes us depression, suffering, anxiety, all of those things. And though the left brain and mind might say, yeah, but I went to school and I studied this, and so now I work in this, and this is what my life looks like. And that, that's all great. That's all thoughts that the mind can have. But the truth of the matter is that could be so far out of alignment with you that you are not actually realizing that what is true for you is something else, and that you are meant to have the courage, you're meant to have the perseverance to start channeling after that, because you are here to actually do that work, to be that woman, to create that business, or be in another career that just serves you more. So what ends up happening is we have all of this fear that starts to pile on, because anytime we want to go out into the unknown and chart a course for our best life, we will hit fear. And fear is always going to be part of a nervous system response. So it's going to feel the same, even if the thoughts aren't true. So you're going to have that amygdala response, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You're going to have that this isn't safe, this isn't safe, this isn't safe. And then what the brain does is it sends you safety thoughts that actually are just keeping you small. So I hear this all the time when I start coaching somebody and they say, yeah, well, I don't want to leave this career. I've spent 10 years here. It's my identity. I went to school for it. My parents really value it. Other people really value it. But, I get sick every time I go to work. I hate it. I can't stand, the fact that my role doesn't allow me to do this, that, or the next thing. But safety thoughts. I have a weekly income pay. I have a pension. I have, a title. I have an identity with this job. And the reality is all of those safety thoughts are just really limiting beliefs. They are our normalization of a situation that we don't actually want to be in. And instead of really recognizing, oh, I don't want to be here and I have another choice to create something else for myself, we just buy into the safety thoughts, because that's how strong fear is. And especially when we don't have a connection with our true selves and a deep sense of love, we end up in fear 99.9% of the time. And we really believe, I couldn't go create this thing. I couldn't possibly do that thing. Only certain people, like that's an ancient belief, is like, only certain people are inventors or pioneers or special or stars or whatever. And the reality is, when we are listening to our innate intelligence, those ideas that you have, that desire that you have, that passion that you have, that is your truth, nobody else's. It's not showing up in you because it's, somebody else's journey that they're meant to take. It's showing up in you because it's your journey that you're meant to take. But fear will always stand in the way. And so instead of overcoming fear, I like to talk about following your fear or working with your fear, because fear for human beings, there's no mountain lion that's going to eat us. Fear is false fear. It's not actually real fear. You can have all the fearful thoughts you want to have, but the reality is most of them you're projecting into the future, or they're based on past events. We don't need to recreate. Just because something happened in the past doesn't mean we'll recreate it in the future. And because we're worrying about the future doesn't mean that is going to be the reality in the present. It's just the function of fear. And so we have to start to recognize, oh, wow, I'm having this thought that's telling me, who am I to start my own business? Or who am I to, do this with my life? And the reality is that fear is actually showing you where you need to head, because false fears are indicators of where you need to evolve to next. So when you have a fear around something, you need to be, I think it's water buffalo. They do this when there's storms. They turn and they head in the direction of the storm. Why? Because they know that's the quickest way through. So the same thing for us. When we have these fears, when it's not a mountain lion, if it's a mountain lion, run like hell. But when it's not a mountain lion, you need to recognize this is just a false fear that I'm having. And yes, it may be based on a past event, but that doesn't predict my future. And it may be something I'm projecting out into the future, but that doesn't actually predict what will happen, unless you just believe it so much that you will create self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's, we know those people that are like, I hate my job, I hate my life, I hate everything, this is horrible. They can't create anything different for themselves because they continue to practice beliefs and energy, in my world, that is going to attract that same energy. So we need to shift. And the biggest kind of tip I have here is follow your fear. Actually start to move towards it. And you don't have to take big leaps, although I'm a fan of big leaps, but you can take small, little, tiny turtle steps in terms of, okay, I'm going to tell somebody today that I actually want to start my own business. I'm going to think about it and daydream about it. These small actions start to get the flow of energy moving in the direction of where you want to go. And so when you're willing to do that, you start to head in that direction, just like the heart, dialing into that and it pumping blood throughout your system. Whatever you're focusing on with your heart and your intention, you start to kind of move in that direction because it's communicating at a frequency level with your entire body and the world at large. So this stuff is super duper important. Michael Singer, he has a book, The Untethered Soul. It's a great one if you want to really understand how your mind is just a monkey in a circus. But he says there is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you're not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. So all of those thoughts that are criticizing you, all of the thoughts that are making you feel like a victim or making you feel small, or that you are finding that cause suffering, they're not true for you. And the one who hears it has the choice to actually start choosing more positive thoughts, more higher vibrational thoughts, such as, I am actually good enough. Like, I've had tons of experience. I have worked really hard in, these areas of my life. And if I have the desire to create something and go do something, I can actually do that. And I see it happen over and over and over and over again. So I'm not coming at it from a place of like, oh, la, la, la. It's from a place of absolute truth that when we're willing to do the work, that's how we get there. Just like an Olympic athlete, when they're willing to cultivate a mindset of a winner, when they're willing to put in the work to, figure out that luge thing or whatever, they, become masters. And I think, what is the quote? It's like 10,000 hours put into anything, you can become a master. And who doesn't want to actually live their right life? Who doesn't actually want to bring the most meaning and joy and potential into their life? We all do. And so the working towards it is where we need to start to head so that we start to make that a reality for ourselves. So we need to clean up these limiting beliefs. We can't let fear run the show. We can't listen to our inner critic. We can't practice self-sabotaging behavior or limiting our lives by playing it safe. All of this is creating a disconnect with our ability to tune into our alignment and to tune into our self-love and true potential. So we do need to start cleaning up the mind. And how we do this work is we slow everything down. So notice the thoughts that are causing you suffering. Notice that, inner dialogue that's actually stopping you from doing the thing that you want to do. The inner saboteur is like the worst. And has so many thoughts that are just, they feel so true. And we buy into our victim. We buy into these states and beliefs that we need to be somehow, traumatized or beaten over the head, because that will, help us move forward. And that's not true. It just lowers our vibration. It just creates more disconnect. It just creates us to be out of alignment with who we are and buy into, any sort of thing. This is why I won't go on too much of a rant on this, but my whole past career, I spent about 20 years in marketing, and that's selling stuff to people. And what is the easiest way to get people to buy things? Give them a little bit of fear. Tell them you need this or else, or you're not going to chalk up here if you don't have this. And so that is the pure number one tactic of consumerism, is just to put people in a place of fear and then give them the solution to that fear. The diet industry is just plagued with this stuff. So recognizing that when you're having these thoughts, you're actually labeling them as such, that, oh, I have this thought in here that says I'm not good enough. And it seems to keep stopping me at all of these turns. And then you need to be able to rewire that neurological pathway. So then you want to come up with a thought that is more true for you. And what works every single time is the opposite is actually more true for you. So that inner saboteur is lying. I'm not good enough. You flip that around. I am good enough. And then give yourself an example of how that is true. Well, every woman I know is like a friggin' hero with like 18 superwoman outfits and capes and, doing 8 billion things for everybody else. And so the value that you can so easily place on others, you need to start cultivating within yourself. So really saying, I am good enough, because like, not only am I just valuable as I am, but here's all of the reasons why I am absolutely worthy and I am absolutely capable of doing anything that I desire to do, because I'm designed to actually do that. So the story that you've been telling yourself is the big limiting belief. And I always love to get people to find that story, the one that has all the safety thoughts attached to it, the one that's keeping them small, keeping them confined, that they've normalized as comfortable. Meanwhile, they are totally not comfortable and they are not happy, and it is not bringing them meaning or fulfillment. So be mindful of the fact that our brain, left brain in particular, has been programmed to a degree where most of the thoughts you think are not your own. I would say a large percentage is probably what your parents would actually think, which frightens everybody to make that realization or connection. But they taught us safety and survival. So the most important thoughts we have are the ones that we got taught in early ages for the purpose of safety and survival. And that when we're in stress, overwhelm, we're thinking about the unknown, we're going to try something new, those are the thoughts that will immediately surround you. And if your thinking isn't in alignment with your parents, and I don't know about you, but my parents, they are out to lunch. I love them dearly, but they are friggin' out to lunch. And so I don't have the same beliefs as they have. And this is evolution. We evolve, we move forward. And so the chances of you having those exact same beliefs are probably not likely. And the suffering that comes from believing those and putting that upon yourself is the indicator that this is not true for you. So we need to start recognizing that we've been telling ourselves these stories. We need to start choosing thoughts that are in alignment with ourselves. And this slow incremental change is actually what will architect some of the biggest outcomes in your life. Because again, we are nature, we are in harmony, we are in synchronicity, or we should be. And nature doesn't do anything fast. It's all very slow to evolve. And then at some points seems fast because it all kind of, connects and moves together. But as you're actually moving through some of this, it's not about taking, gigantic leaps or putting all this pressure on yourself to change. It's like, what is one small, simple change you can do each day? And I suggest you start with that left brain and choose thoughts that are more in alignment for you, because that will start to have everything that comes after. So the actions, the behaviors, the feelings, all of that starts to change when we start to actually shift the thought itself. Steve Jobs, this is another one of my favorite quotes. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. And this is one of my favorite quotes because I know this to be true. Every time I help somebody access their heart intelligence and truly come into alignment, they then are their own coach. They become their own guide. They have the ability to tap into their intelligence and their guidance system that is designed to really support them through creating their life and accessing this idea of their full potential. So I want to take you through a couple fun exercises now that I've rattled on. Hopefully some of that created a little spark or two in your mind. But to access our full potential and deeper sense of self-love, we need to clean up the mind, as I said, and then we really need to have the courage, the curiosity, the perseverance to follow our truth. This is where it helps to have like-minded people around you. So awesome that Marnie has this space that cultivates all of these practices and allows you to meet other women who are in similar states of vibration, as well as say, or similar kinds of consciousness, which is one of personal development and moving things forward and making the changes that are necessary. So accessing your full potential is really about all of that, honoring your integrity, honoring your truth, one little bit at a time. So the two exercises I want to take you through, the first one is just really fun, and it's an exercise by Dr. Martha Beck, who I did my coach training with. She is phenomenal. If you haven't read any of her books, I highly recommend it. Finding Your Own North Star. I'm pretty sure I just messed up the title of that book, but it is a great one. And this exercise is from that book. And then I'm going to take you into a meditation visualization exercise that I do with everybody all the time to help you really tune into your heart and start creating some of that heart coherence and really feeling what it is that you desire. So get comfortable for this stuff and join me as a kid in the sandbox. I like to play. So your left brain is going to go, am I doing this right? What am I supposed to do here? How do I do this? And I want you just to silence that left brain and just have fun. Just enjoy yourself. Allow whatever your experience is to be your experience, and allow yourself to just get into that kind of imagination and flow state. Okay, so I'll get you just to close your eyes. I'm going to talk a little bit and then I'll take you through the exercise, but you can close your eyes now and just start to come into your natural rhythm, more of your animal self, your nature self. So really starting to find that breath and just noticing how your body feels. Mentally telling your body to relax. If this is the first time you've done this today, really enjoy the experience of telling the tips of your toes to relax, your feet to let go and relax. Asking your legs, all of those muscles in your legs, just let them soften, relax, release any of the tension or the stress that your body naturally holds on to. Moving up into your bum, your hips, your lower belly, your lower back. Relax, relax, relax. Relaxing your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Mentally telling your throat, your neck, your jaw to relax. Relax your cheeks, your eyes, your forehead. Relaxing the top of your head, every single strand of hair, mentally telling your whole body to relax. So Martha Beck talks about this exercise, wildly improbable goals, and she says, a wildly improbable goal is a genuine, heartfelt longing for something that lies on the border between possibility and impossibility. So this exercise is to really allow you to give yourself permission to stretch out your idea of what is possible for yourself to the point where you almost think it would be impossible, but truly it is possible. So I have a series of questions I'm going to ask you, and I want you just to allow your subconscious, allow your heart to answer these questions and give yourself full permission to just go there with whatever comes up for you. So the first question is, if I didn't care what people thought, I would what? If I did not care at all what people thought, what would you do? Next question. If I was sure, if I was positive that I would succeed, that I would completely, triumph in doing this, what would you do? And the next question. If you had all of the courage, all of the nerve, all of the drive in the world, what would you do? And the last question. If you had all of the resources, all of the financial needs, all of the freedom in the world, what is it that you would do? Now, staying with your eyes closed, I want you just to reflect on some of your answers and notice how impossible are these really? And I want you to then notice, do some of those limiting beliefs start to come up? Those safety thoughts, those feelings of staying small is safer? Or can you really start to feel how possible some of this actually might be for you? And if there was something in particular that you thought of that brought you so much joy and passion when you were thinking about it, what is one step that you can actually take today to start just moving in that direction? So instead of stopping yourself from getting what you desire most, what's something that you can start to do to head in the direction of what you desire most? And just one little thing, very, very little. Maybe it's just telling somebody about what it is that you desire. And then I'm going to get you to stay in that space. And I'm going to take you right into tuning into your heart and really tuning into this desire. So, something that came out of those questions that really, truly strikes such a deep chord with you. We're going to go there now and create a lot of heart coherence. So we're going to put it out into the universe. We're going to take that big old magnet that is your heart, and we're going to activate it with this desire. And we are going to send this out into this quantum universe to say, this is what I desire to do. This is the direction I want to head. And this is the corresponding information I want to receive in terms of how to start moving in this direction. So again, with your eyes closed, you're going to focus your awareness on the center of your chest. So where your heart would be, or where your heart chakra energy center is. And to activate this energy center, to start to really dial into this intelligence, we just first want to notice how it physically feels. So I want you to become aware of the weight of your chest. No judgment, just awareness. So if your chest is feeling heavy, that's fine. Just notice the physical sensations. If it's feeling nice and open and flowing, that's fine. Just notice those sensations. Notice the temperature. Notice how deep your breathing is. And this process of awareness is just connecting you in with this area of the body. And now we're going to activate the energy of the heart. So I want you to visualize someone that you really love. So I want you to see the face of somebody that you truly love, someone that brings you so much joy and happiness. And I want you to see, feel, or know that person is there. You can see them smiling at you, see their eyes smiling at you. Just allow yourself to connect in with that energy of love. Maybe you imagine yourself reaching out and hugging that person and actually feeling them hug you back, connecting in deeper with the energy of love. And now that we're completely dialed in to our heart, I want you to activate that desire, that thing that you truly want to create for yourself. If you had all of the resources, all of the freedom, all of the nerve, all of the courage, I want you to see that thing that you truly want to create. And I want you to allow yourself to imagine it happening right now. So in whatever way you can create this detail and feeling, imagine it all unfolding right now. See yourself in the place with the people, the things that are all part of this desire. Allow yourself to experience all of the senses. Really embodying this desire as if it were taking place today, in this moment, right now. Seeing all the smiles of the people that you're interacting with, feel the joy running through your body, doing something that you desire so deeply. Taking a moment in your visualization to be grateful that you're having this experience, feeling even that wet tear of gratitude running down the side of your face. You are so overjoyed to be doing this with your life, to be experiencing this. Allow yourself to tap into and tune into how this feels. And begin to notice the feeling states that start to arise when you allow yourself to be doing what it is you desire most. Notice how your body physically responds. Notice all of the different emotions that you have. And really see yourself creating what it is you truly want to manifest. And then with your intention, I want you to mentally repeat after me. I am capable of creating what I desire the most. I am capable of creating what I desire the most. I am capable of creating what I desire the most. Sending that intention out through that heart energy, almost like you can send a bat signal out to the universe, stating that this is what you desire the most. This is the direction you want to head. These are the feelings you want to have in your everyday. And imagine sharing this gift with the world in whatever way it needs to be shared. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to slowly come back into the room, bringing all of that energy with you into the present moment, pulling all of that energy into your heart center, knowing that you've powerfully activated your intentions to manifest this for your future. Committing to yourself that you will take all of the action steps that begin to show up, that you will practice all of the feeling states of what that manifestation felt like. So if it felt like joy, peace, calm, activities every day that bring you joy, peace, and calm, you're going to practice so that you stay in this vibration, so that you start to attract exactly what it is you desire. Wiggling fingers and toes, feeling yourself back in your room, and slowly opening your eyes. So I don't know how much time. Oh, I'm like right at time. Look at me go. I don't know if you want to share a little bit, if anybody was able to do the exercise on the call, or you want to share, Marnie. But this kind of stuff is so powerful. Like, think about how often we spend in a negative mindset every day, all the time, worrying, fearing, doubting, wondering. If you spent half that time doing stuff like this, I guarantee you'd already be living that life, doing those things, and embodying all that you're truly desiring. So the more you can remember what it is you desire, tap into that, and really get into that coherent heart state, which is one of love and peace and joy, the more you are naturally going to start to head in the direction of what you truly want the most. So, Marnie, what was your experience this time?
That was pretty awesome. I kind of got tears, joy, all sorts of feelings going on, like feeling anxious and feeling happy and scared all at the same time, kind of. But I seen some pretty cool things. So there's big things on the horizon, and I'm really excited about that. And I loved what you said. I wanted to maybe open up the floor to see if anybody had any questions. But like you said, doing this as a daily practice. Now, a lot of the reasons that the community, we don't, as women, necessarily do things for ourselves is because we have the belief that we don't necessarily have the time, or we're too busy, or we're always putting everybody else first. And I know you're a mom of two, a single mom of two with the business and all that. So how did you come to find the time? Like, how did you make that happen for you? What is your suggestions?
Yeah, well, for me, it became essential. So, as you know, my little guy, Rowan, he's nonverbal with autism. And um, in order to keep my calm, because he's very sensory driven. So, if I'm in my fiery, angry state, Rowan will react. So, I've had to literally practice it for so many reasons. One, to kind of communicate with him, two, to stay in a calm, centered energy myself, and three, because I don't have 40 hours a week to put into my business. So I need to, work smart versus work hard. And for me, working smart is doing this stuff. And so for me, how I do it, given my limited time, is I cut out all of the stuff that is just filler. So I limit my time on social media. I limit my time worrying about, and I deal with anxiety, so I know what worry is all about. But I limit my time. I do have like a stopwatch that happens in my head where I'll hear myself rattle on about a couple things, and I'll just go, it really like is not the best use. And so I might not necessarily be pushing, so cutting off that time to focus on my business and pushing myself to like come up with ideas or do whatever. I just give myself time. So whatever I need in the moment, I'm a big proponent of like, check in, what is it you need? And so if I need to sleep, like I am going to lay down for 10 minutes, make sure Rowan's all safe and whatnot, and I'm going to relax. And so I've spent I'm not somebody that likes routine or, likes too much organization. I think that's the fiery nature of an Aries. And so it's been hard putting these things in place. And what I realize is the more I do it intuitively, so the more I just check in with myself and go, what do you need right now? Do you need space? Do you need alone time? Do you need to work on your business because you're excited and you have some ideas? And so I tend to just kind of operate in that way. And it has served me really, really well, because there's only so much energy that's in my tank on a daily basis. And I know how quickly it can go. So I have no friends with drama. I do not do a job that I dislike, because it would zap me of every ounce of life force I have. And I keep some good boundaries in place.
Love it. I think that's all really great advice, but I loved the part where you were saying that you don't like routine, because I think so many people think it has to involve a routine. So it's nice to actually hear that it doesn't.
I'm terrible at routine.
Because it's like find the time when you have the time, like make the time and fit it in where you can.
Yes.
So do any of you ladies have any questions you wanted to ask? If you do, unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. Okay, I'll take that as either they can't find the mute button, or
they've fallen asleep in one of my meditations, which happens.
They're so mellow from the meditation, because that was the second meditation I did today. So I'm like, my vibrations are so high right now, it's not funny.
Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah, if you
That's
want to,
awesome.
yeah, if you want, tell them where they can find you if they want to see more, because I know you do have meditations on a weekly basis that are
Yes.
free.
Yeah. I'm actually doing one tonight because tonight is the full moon lunar eclipse. We're developing our intuition. So if you have any interest in starting to work more intuitively, it'll be a really great one tonight at 8. And if you go to the Mode School Instagram page or on our Facebook, you'll find the event there. The event, I think, in Instagram's in the link is in the bio. I can't remember if it's posted on the page. And then on the event and Facebook, it's in there. The link is in there to register. It's going to be awesome. I love working with full moon energy. And if you haven't noticed this week that it has been so much irritability, which is like feeling all of the uncomfortable feels, which is showing us where we need to shift. And then also bringing in this, it's a full flower moon. So it's all about blossoming. It's all about stepping into the next kind of evolution of the self. So we're going to touch on, all of that tonight. And then I'll be back at it. I think the next one is June 24th or 25th. I can't remember. But once a month, I have free live meditations, which are always fun. Otherwise, you can book a free coaching call if you're interested in becoming a coach or building a business, or we're doing meditation teacher training certification in August. So that's available if that interests you. And you can find me at themodeschool.com. And I'm always happy to chat. Always feel free to reach out. I am, as you know, Marnie, I'm a chatty one.
I was gonna
Love
say,
connecting.
yes, she's a very friendly person.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time, because as I said, I know you're very busy, so I really appreciate this. And I thank you ladies all for attending. And I'm going to stop the recording, and I will let you all get back to your